like I was saying, when you're getting price compensation, you start, you're compensated for those factors that are a little bit unknown.
Well, they have to think there's some talent there because they're staying at the allowance ranks, but you're right. They're still kind of trying to figure the horse out a little bit too.
One more to mention before I go on is Champagne Mike, who's coming out of the maiden win at Oaklawn Park, which was also extremely dominant. I don't think that field was that great, but I was pretty impressed by that effort. So I could see Champagne Mike doing something in here.
And if they do duke it out on the front end, you might get the right setup for that horse too, because they're just going to kind of settle, wait back, should save ground the whole way, and then should come running late. So wouldn't surprise me. That horse will be a big price there in race number 5. 6th race on the card off the turf. Mile and a 16th on the fast main track. Only 3 scratches. Take out the 3, Tapper Enea, the 4, Leah Rowe, and the 5, April's Gem. Command Point stays in. I stuck with Command Point on the main track. I'm happy this horse stayed in. I was kind of looking back through and said, okay, well, the dirt workouts were solid, so the horse can handle the main track. Basically, the entirety of this horse's career, aside from one race, have been on the turf, so we really don't know what the dirt efforts are going to be. But with the scratches in this race, too, it takes out a lot of the main contenders here, especially Leah Rowe and April's Gem. I mean, Set the Pace probably does move up in this spot, but Command Point still seems to be the horse to beat.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean to Set the Pace.
Yep.
I think Command Point, again, same thing, should be the horse to beat in here, but you do have the unknown, and when you have the unknown, and what is it like?
It's probably going to be a short price.
Short price, doing something new for the first time. I think I've heard that before.
Yep.
And Set the Pace, I think, is going to run to their name today. They expected to set the pace last out, broke a step slow, was wide, was on hold, and in this race, from the outside, first off the claim, in today's race shape, moving to the main track, send and try to wire this field, and I think they've got a chance to. Arnett sending out live runners, Alexis Centeno riding absolutely lights out. So yeah, I'm gonna go that direction.
I could see definitely. I picked that horse second, 5-1. Probably going to be a little bit shorter in this field with the scratches. Definitely a factor. Here's the thing: if you can excuse the last 8 of Lotto Roses, okay, 8 straight, you get back to a victory. That's back on August the 23rd of 23. That was against 15 non-2 company. That was also on the turf, but again, just might get a type of setup. You have to overlook a lot. But if you can do so, and you want to find a little bit of a price,
step up in class right now. But when you get the lower race power, the race is coming off. But yes, if you're a forgiving type,
8 times over, you can definitely give that horse a little bit of a shot. So see what we get out of Lotto Roses today. 7th race on the card goes 1 mile and 70 yards, conditioned to $5,000 claimers. Take out the 4, read the transcript. 6, Carte Blanche, and the 11, Modazzle. I'm angry Modazzle came out because that was my top pick. That was my price play of the day. Thought you had a shot there. Now you start with Can't Steal My Thunder and work from there. The horse is going to be a short price. Luis Colon for Francisco Villa. Francisco Villa is off to a very good start this meet. 7 of the first 12 have run first or second. The question is, the horse was claimed for 16, 4 starts back. Ran well in a couple of starts after. Now you're in for 5 today. Is it a drop to win? Is it a drop to get starter eligible? What's the reason for the drop? That was my concern with Can't Steal My Thunder.
Yeah, it's a major question mark. I don't know if it's necessarily a red flag, because I think the barn can certainly win and wants to keep winning, and they're probably going to get claimed. Like I would claim this horse. I would claim this horse. I think he's ran really well in those last couple races. The race going 2 back when coming off the layoff, and it was on the main track, and we were kind of looking at the horse saying, maybe he's a turf horse, maybe needed the race, and then ran a better than looked effort, made a really positive appearance, was against the flow, and then the race on the turf last out, it was one of those trips that's not overly trouble obvious, but it was subtle enough. Wasn't the most ideal ride, was covered up before losing ground. Maybe the timing just wasn't ideal. So I was really surprised that they took this drop off those races. I thought they would be worth another look, but yeah, so I guess there's some reservations there. At the same time, I think it goes through Can't Steal My Thunder in this race, and then probably, that's
yeah, Unified Weekend's the other that'll take some action in here, and that's a horse defeated, heavy favorite in 3 straight. I ended up scratching into that horse. I was going to try to beat both the favorites, but now with the scratch of Modazzle in here, I ended up coming up with Unified Weekend, and still maybe you get a decent price with Can't Steal My Thunder in this spot.
Yeah, and Rocket Hotshot moves up as well in here. Should be able to get a good trip.
Yep, I agree with you there. Race number 8 is the race that comes off the turf. We talked about this at the start of the show. $25,000 claimers, now winners of 3 lifetime. When they entered for this race and you looked up and down the field, you basically saw 9 dirt horses in here and 1 turf horse, and the 1 turf horse scratch. That was Monster on the midway. Everybody else has kind of been battling, duking it out a little bit, and see just how things unfold. But you mentioned Cheryl Weinbaugh. They have McMoney in this spot. This is a horse that ran a good race behind Category 10 in that last out. Had a little bit of trouble in there too. I think with Clear Sailing, maybe today's the day for McMoney.
Yeah, I upgraded McMoney in here. I didn't have him in the selections initially, but I was looking at a completely different race, so I'm going to lean on McMoney in here. Comedic Timing and Path to Success, a couple others that I'll throw in, but going to McMoney on top, again, just following that trend. I think benefits from the races, staying on the main track, has the right run style in here. Should be a fair price in the finale, but kind of shifted things around a little bit with the surface switch and Monster on the midway out.
Right, and you can't completely knock Category 10. I picked that horse last out. The horse has run 2 really good races on the meet and back-to-back starts. Right back at the similar level once again today. Should be a factor from the outside. We'll just kind of have to see what the pace scenario is because there's really not a ton of pace in the last. So see what we get out of Category 10, but it is going to be McMoney for me in the finale as well. We'll see if Cheryl Weinbaugh, if we're right about that one, and that barn does pick up a couple of victories or at least runs a couple of good races on this Sunday card. All right, that's how we see the 8 races on this Sunday. Again, sunny skies. Fast track today. We are off the turf course. All 8 races are on the fast main track. There's a good competitive card, and we kick things off today, Emily, in the opener with maiden 2-year-olds in this spot. We offer win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, double pick 3, pick 5, and a place pick 8 wagering in the first. Field of 6 in the opener. We're going to try to get through all of them. So we want to get a look at these 2-year-olds in the first, but we're going to start out with the 5. That She's a Funky Drummer. This one, your 4-5 favorite from the Ravelli barn, and instantly I like what I'm seeing with this horse today.
Yeah, like I said, I was able to see them down at the sale in March, so I had an idea of what she looked like. Worked in the blinkers at the time. The blinkers are on, which is very customary for Ravelli runners in general, especially the first-time starters. Makes a very good positive appearance, looks extremely fit, carrying good condition. Had her as my top pick. Nothing I'm seeing right now is making me change that. 3 to 5 is to be expected. I'm not surprised at that number at all, and probably fair.
And you do get a look at the blinkers right there, and that's expected for Ravelli first time out. It's probably going to be speed. Keep the focus.
And had them on at the sale. Had blinkers on at the sale, so it's not anything new.
Correct, right. Yeah. You're not looking at anything foreign for this racehorse at all, but should be pretty tough here in the opener. It is one of 4 fillies in here. It's 4 fillies and 2 geldings in this spot for the opener. But again, it looks like this horse got hosed down coming over here in preparation for the opener too, but makes a good impression. Sits as your favorite right now at 3 to 5. Now at 5 to 2 is the 3. That's Jay-Z's Last Chance. This one from the barn of trainer Joel Zawitz. Olaf Hernandez gets the call today for this 2-year-old filly in her debut. Couple of bullet drills at 3/8 of a mile. Most recently a gate work in 49 seconds. That was a half-mile drill. You look at Jay-Z's Last Chance over in the saddle install. It's a couple things you watch. You see how they are in the walking ring, and then you see how they are while they're getting saddled. So far, so good, but all these little things, you just don't want them to use up any part of their race prior to their debut.
Exactly. I think there's so much to that, especially in these races, why it's so key to look at them ahead of time, because there's the physical preparedness and there's also the mental preparedness, and sometimes both those things don't line up. So you want to get a look at them and make sure there's just the 3 works, but the timing looks very good, actually. Yeah, actually, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Maybe there's some competition for Ravelli first out because this filly looks great. Yeah, it has those 3 published works, but good timing between, as you mentioned, showed a little bit of speed. I don't take too much out of it when it's 3 furlongs.
Right.
Because you're just, especially if you don't see it, it's just so hard to tell.
Right.
Clocking horses, there's so much that goes in. Like if I'd watched David Jacobson or Jason Service out in New York, like they would work 4 furlongs, but there'd be a quarter in between that would be like blazing, and then it would look on paper like 54. So you're like, unless you can look at them and see what's going on. I mean, just from a physical standpoint, looks great. Definitely race ready. Yeah,
so far so good. Currently sitting at 2 to 1 on the board. Now the 1 horse right there is Good God. Good God is the second Ravelli runner in this spot. Orlando Mojica gets the call today. 2-year-old gelding making the debut, and this is a horse that's just kind of eased into it for the works. You see a half-mile drill followed by a couple 3/8 of a mile drills. Another one that does wear the blinkers for that first start out, but again, another one that's behaving well leading into this spot. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse also puts forth a good performance. Just has to get away from the inside.
Yeah, exactly. Is in good hands. The blinkers on. Looks like a good size and just Illinois bred runner, right? So has some good size to him. I could see him stretching out, handling even more ground. So maybe the plan here is to get a race, get some foundation, and go forward. But that's just from a physical standpoint. Definitely looks like one that will continue to get better with more ground.
Yeah, currently sitting right now at 7 to 1. Now trainer Harry Lynch has 2 of them in there. One of them being the 2 horse as the Litmus hat trick. This one gets Victor Balan in the saddle today. It was working down at Fairmount Park, leading into the spot. You see that gate drill that kind of pops out. A half-mile work in 47-3 leading into this debut. That's a pretty snappy drill for that track down there. And maybe you have a horse here that could have a little bit of run. I know the connections were hoping this race was going to go today.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's hard to tell off the works, but that one gate drill, and I'm glad that you mentioned that being a fast time for that track, because it's just what I'm not as familiar with to know. Cold on the board right now, 17-1, but that could also be just because there's a couple in here that are taking money. But definitely want to see this one once they kind of poke out of there and start to, there we go. Has the blinkers on.
Yep.
Come on.
Let's see if this one is. Let's see how the horse looks coming out. But again, I mean, so
that
far.
looks fine. You know, I'd give the edge to the 5 and the 3, but otherwise, no real negatives.
No negatives at all for this group of babies by any means. Now the 6-horse Cool Thing is the other Harry Lynch horse in here. 17-1 on this one. Rainer Arietta gets the call today. A little bit more of a longer pattern of drills coming into the spot. You do see the front bandages for that first start out. Sometimes they do that with some of these horses just to kind of protect their legs early on. But let's see what Cool Thing shows us. Again, I don't mind the outside draw by any means. I think the outside draw may actually be a little bit of a benefit here, but it is a short run into that turn.
Yeah, especially looking at this one, it kind of looks like the really runner on the inside, just a little bit longer. When you were saying the longer pattern of drills, I was looking at the body, so the longer bodied runner as well. So being on the outside could be a positive and probably one that will appreciate more ground going forward.
Yeah, and then lastly is the 4, that's Ocean Star. Ocean Star from the barn of trainer Gerald James. Rachel Slavinsky gets the call today. We mentioned earlier about the day that she had yesterday with a couple of victories on the card, rode very well, and this is a horse that was training at Tampa and then most recently was able to pick up a work here at Hawthorne coming into this spot. So far, it looks like he's handling everything just fine too. A little bit of a long shot here. We'll see if this horse needs a start or not coming out.
Yeah, the one thing I will mention about Rachel Slavinsky yesterday was putting horses in the race and being able to get that done. I think that's such a key, not only when you have the weight break, but, you know, with some of the more experienced riders, not giving them an advantage, right? And so something to follow and definitely can help with first-time starters getting them out and into the race. Yeah,
there's 2 of them taking a lot of action here in the opener between the 5, She's a Funky Drummer, and the 3, Jay-Z's Last Chance. I'm going to look for just a little bit of an upset here. I'm going to go with Jay-Z's Last Chance in this spot. Peter Galassi goes with the Ravelli runners 1-2 in the opener. See how things unfold as they'll head out shortly here for race number 1. Good luck.
Coming on the track for the Sunday opener, 2-year-olds going 4 1/2 furlongs, field of 6, no jockey changes. Number 2, Litmus Hattrick carries 3 pounds over. 3, Jay-Z's Last Chance carries 2 pounds over. 4, Ocean Star carries 2 pounds over. 5, She's a Funky Drummer carries 2 pounds over. And 6, Cool Thing carries 1 pound over the program weight. Win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta. This race starts the rolling daily doubles, rolling pick 3s, and the 50-cent pick 5 and the place pick 8. 6 minutes till post for the Sunday opener. Parading here they are. 1, Good God, Orlando Mojica riding. 2 is Litmus Hattrick and Victor Balan. 3, Jay-Z's Last Chance, Olaf Hernandez. Here's 4 Ocean Star with Rachel Slavinsky. 5, She's a Funky Drummer, David Cohen aboard. And 6, Cool Thing, Rainier Arietta. We'll bring him to the gate and they'll all be there in about 6 minutes, kick off the Sunday program. This race starts the rolling doubles, rolling pick threes, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. We're off the turf today. All the races on the dirt track, and that track is listed as fast. Racing fans, little time remains for you to wager on the first race. 2-year-olds going 4.5 furlongs. This race starts the rolling doubles, rolling pick threes, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. We're off the turf today. All the races on the dirt track. That track is fast. If you missed it earlier, we have a slight tailwind and home stretch now less than 10 miles per hour. We do thank you for joining us wherever it may be across the betting network. We are close to starting time for race 1 here at Hawthorne. Less than a minute. Racing fans are at the starting gate for today's first race, for first of 8 on the Sunday program. Pleasant temperatures in the Chicagoland area. Unfortunately, we're off the turf because of all the rains yesterday. Track is fast, will be fast all day long. 2-year-olds loading up, just a couple more left to go in. Litmus Hat-Trick needs some assistance. 2 more left to go in, waiting for Jay-Z's Last Chance and Cool Thing. Waiting for Cool Thing. He's in, they're all in the gate. Waiting on She's a Funky Drummer. She's a Funky Drummer, been backed out. Now she's going back in. They're all in the gate. They're off. Towards the inside, Litmus Hat-Trick out fast for lead. There goes She's a Funky Drummer on the outside. Far outside, moving up is Cool Thing. Then towards the inside, Ocean Star. Good God, and far back trailing after a poor start, Jay-Z's Last Chance. And they move around the turn and come to the top of the stretch. She's a Funky Drummer has the lead by 5. Litmus Hat-Trick chasing in second. Then on the outside, Cool Thing third, followed by Ocean Star fourth. Far back are Good God and Jay-Z's Last Chance. They straighten away for the final 3/16. She's a Funky Drummer has the lead by 4. Jay-Z's Last Chance, make that Litmus Hat-Trick trying to come on. And then on the outside, Cool Thing, they're coming down to the finish. She's a Funky Drummer, a sharp debut, and She's a Funky Drummer won by 4 in the end. Litmus Hat-Trick second, then it was Cool Thing third, Ocean Star fourth. She's a Funky Drummer in the Sunday opener. In today's first race, number 5, She's a Funky Drummer finished first. 2, Litmus Hat-Trick second. 6, Cool Thing was third. 4, Ocean Star fourth. 5, 2, 6, 4 is posted. It's unofficial. 52.32 for the 4.5 furlongs. Returning as the official winner, 5, She's a Funky Drummer. She's a Funky Drummer is owned by Patricia's Hope Limited Liability Corporation of Vince Foglia. Larry Ravelli, the winning trainer. David Cohen, the winning rider. First race official running time 52.32 prices in a moment.